So I was just looking at this lure. It's quite a big one, it's about 20 centimetres. It's got a big fin on the front, huge fin on the front. It actually goes down 30 foot. Now, I'm always after lures that go down a bit deeper because most of the ones I got go under the surface, and when I do get ones that go down deep, they don't tend to catch well. I think it's because the fin quite often is so big on them. I don't know if that's what's causing it or something else, but when I have got like smaller fin ones down deep, they tend to catch well. But yeah. Anyway, this one I ordered because I thought it looked quite interesting, and it turns out that this one's actually got two little sensors in the top, which when they get wet, it gives off like an electric pulse signal, like a wounded fish or a swimming fish or something like that, which is supposed to draw the fish to it and make it a really good lure. And it's even been endorsed by one of the crab fishermen from the Deadliest Catch, which makes no sense whatsoever. So I don't expect it to catch, put it that way. It's, you know, we'll give it a go. I mean, I'm not going to sort of write it off just yet, but it's one of these things. It sounds really good in practice, and it might work somewhere in the tropics. Who knows? Here, not too sure, but we'll give it a go. And it was reduced, and when things get reduced, like lures, that usually means they've got a lot that they can't sell. So yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. As you can see, we've got pots in production. These are going to be the replacements for some of the pots we got on the boat. You know, the older ones that start to get a bit worn out, well, getting worn out, pretty worn out now. I do this every year. I make a few every year, and that way you don't get all your pots falling apart in one go. It's sort of every year that you've got different aged pots, so it sort of staggers everything, so it doesn't give you so much work to do them all at the same time. But anyway, it's New Year, not New Year yet, it's Christmas Eve. Right now, and for you, it's Christmas Day. And yeah, it's a great place to be in Christmas Eve, making crab pots, you see. But anyway, happy Christmas. Happy Christmas to all the subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber, then and you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button, because it will help the channel immensely. Because we're trying to get the channel to grow, obviously. I'm going to be doing a lot more content in the future. And if you want to be notified when a video goes up, just hit the bell button. And if you don't want to be notified, obviously don't hit it. But there you go. And if you like the videos, just leave a like on the video. If you don't like it, then leave a dislike. But and if you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see on the channel, if there's anything you'd particularly prefer to see, then just leave a comment. You know, I mean, I can't obviously cater to everybody. It's always difficult, like you say, you can't please everybody. But I try and keep it varied from boat to shore to doing stuff in the shed, and just doing some other interesting stuff. And if you've got any ideas, you know, just put them up there and I'll look into things. I mean, people have asked for videos on certain things and I have done them. So, you know, I try to read every comment. It gets a bit tricky at times because sometimes I don't actually get notified when the comment goes up for whatever reason. I get most of them, but there's always a few comments that I see a month later and I'm like, where did that come from? And it's been there, but I never got notified or it never showed up. And apart from me having to go through all the comments to find these ones, sometimes they get missed. So I apologise if your comment wasn't replied to or answered. I don't always see them. Anyway, today you're going to see, or you might have already seen, it depends when you're actually watching this video, another video that I'll be putting up at the same time, or near enough the same time, which is a day fishing in the fog. Now this was taken near the end of the year. I went out, it's just a general day out in the boat, basically did some pots, did some fishing with the rods, sort of a bit of a mixed day. Now the fog, it may not look so foggy, but this often happens when you're filming, that the fog is actually a lot further away on the camera. Well, I said it's further away. Everything's further away. You'll notice that with the fish, that when you see a fish, now I might say, oh look, that one's an 8-pounder and it looks like this big. But you've really got to get to the camera because of the sort of curved lens. It makes everything look a bit smaller than it actually is. And the same with the fog, it always seems a lot further away. This is why it's difficult when you're trying to film, say, a dolphin or something which is in the water, because usually it looks like it's 2 miles away on the camera. But it was a very foggy day. But we did get out. It was supposed to clear. It kind of didn't, but we got everything done. We did our pots, like I say, we did some fishing, and it wasn't too much trouble as long as I stayed near enough towards land, close enough to the land, not get too far out and out of the way. Even though I've got GPS, I'm still always a bit cautious, because if your electric suddenly went down, and they did go down with me once when the fog suddenly rolled in, and like that, just went. For whatever reason, it just boom, gone. And I quickly grabbed the compass, took a bearing, and then it came down thick, and I just used that bearing and came straight back in, and actually came in quite well. Yeah, things like that do happen. Not very often, but when they do, it's quite, you know, it's a bit like that really. You have to go back to the old ways of navigating your way in again. But yeah, so that video is coming up, and then on New Year there'll be another video coming up, which will be on New Year's Day, and that'll be like highlights of the year. It'll probably be called highlights. It's just clips of some of the stuff you've already seen from videos of some of the best fish, some of the best crabs, lobsters, kind of thing. There's also clips in there that I haven't actually uploaded previously. There'll be some new stuff mixed in, and there's obviously things that have happened, funny things, maybe things that weren't so funny, just various bits and pieces that have happened over this year, just looking back at different things. So like I say, there is some already seen content, but there's also some unseen content in that. So yeah, that'll be going up on New Year's Day. And this coming year, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to be doing lots. Obviously the boat will go down in a couple of months' time, or probably 3 months' time, nearer to that. Now, we're coming into a funny period here, because we're getting this time of year where we don't tend to catch a lot. Between sort of January and February, it gets cold, the water gets cold. It doesn't get cold enough really to see lots of cod and things. I mean, it's kind of on their southerly range. You do get them occasionally, you used to get them, but obviously with the cod stocks dropping and that, we're the sort of first end that gets hit hardest, because obviously the cod stocks have pulled back a bit as well. So we don't get those sort of fish, but at the same time our warm water species are they're off, you know, they're sort of heading out into a more stable temperature of water. So you kind of get a dead lull here. There is still a few fish, but the fishing can be very lean. We will still go, we'll go off the shore and we'll try and we'll see what we can catch, but like I say, the videos might be a bit lean on the actual fishing. But we will be doing other videos. We'll be doing videos maybe on fishing tackle, maybe on fishing gear, maybe on just general stuff in the shed, you know. There's always things we can find. Plus I've got some new ideas. We're also going to be making another pot. Like we do each year, we're going to be making another sort of trash pot out of some mould rubbish and see how it catches. Last year it was a washing basket this year, and that one worked really well. The previous year was a shop display basket. That worked okay. That had that had a 2-pounder I think in that one. So they do work. They're only little tiny pots, you know, but really easy sort of things. I mean, these sort of little pots are great if you've got a small dinghy or even a kayak or something, just for taking out and dropping over the side. You know, you can, very manageable pots, not like these things, which you need a boat really to be working these things. Or you can take them off the shore if you take them without weights. But yeah. And another thing we're going to be doing probably, now I've got this lure here. I'm not going to show the whole lure. This is it here. It's been painted over by me. And it's a very cheap lure. But this lure caught more fish this year than any other lure I've ever used. Which, I say any other lure, it hasn't caught more fish than any lure because there's a time scale. But for when I used it, when I was using all the other lures that I'm using now, not old lures from 20 years ago, but lures I'm using now, this one outfished them. And when the fish wouldn't take lures, this one they did take. It was kind of weird. The trouble with that lure is it's built, I mean, it swims like crap. I mean, that's not the problem because it still catches. I could make the slight improvement on the swimming on that. And the fittings, now I spoke to the company about this lure. I said, you know, great lure, catches really well, but your fittings are rubbish. You really need to, you know, put the price up, put better fittings on it, you'll have an amazing lure. And you get the usual generic reply, oh, thank you for this, blah, 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 and then that's it, they don't care anymore, you know, they're not interested. That's unfortunately the thing with big companies these days. But, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make a lure that is almost identical. The lure will be made in wood, because this is plastic, and I could reform it and put new fittings in, like through wires, but with the plastic it's just splitting it and that, it's just annoyance and not that easy to do really, it's just a lot of work. It'd be easier for me to actually make a brand new one, the same style in wood, and then I'll put through wires in it, but I'm going to base it on that same design, and I might improve the I forgot what you call it, the bib on the front, to make it swim just a little bit better, or just to pull it down a bit, because it did tend to want to sort of come up quite a lot. And then we'll take that out and we'll see, and what we'll do is we'll do a process of where we actually make this lure. We'll make several, because I want several of these because they are that good. We'll make several, we'll put them much better fittings in, and we'll take it from beginning to end right through to the fishing. We'll see how they do, these lures, once they've been made, and see if they catch well. But yeah, that's something that will come up. And there'll be, like I say, plenty of other footage that we're going to be doing. If you've got any ideas or anything you want to see, any particular area, just, you know, let us know. And have a great Christmas and have a great New Year. And hopefully you get lots of fishing related gear for your Christmas presents. And yeah, I feel sorry for anybody who gets like lawnmower and socks. But that's Christmas for you.